I'm officiating again. Rena.
I'm back again. I think I did your first one.
Yes, you did. Mask here. I'm going to check the live stream and then start it. Hi. So I just stand over there then?
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I'm Rena, by the way.
Sure.
Nice to meet you.
Yes, it's been a long time, but hi, I'm Lori. The daughter.
I can't recognize us, but Robin. Yes. She gave us cards. Okay. Is there anything on the Yes. Yeah, no. So if we put them on, okay, no, we haven't. If you say that, and then we pin it on that way. It's almost like yeah. We're ready. David. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He causes me to lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Even as I walk in the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You set a table before me in the presence of my adversaries. You anointed my head with oil, my cup overflows. May only goodness and kindness pursue me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord for the length of days. Welcome to all who have gathered today to honor the memory of Francis Kogan, Todah Rabah, the Bluma, who passed away on January 18th. I had a very special experience yesterday meeting with the family and finding out about this extraordinary, passionate woman, artist, teacher, mother of Todah Rabah. Zoe, Elizabeth, Alan and Lori, who are here today, as well as the grandchildren, Adam, Brendan, Lauren, Zachary, Jessica, Aaron, Alex, Joseph, and Liam. She was so lucky to have a family with her in Winnipeg. Not everybody is so lucky to have the family with them all the time. Wonderful life you had as a family. You sounded in such a beautiful home life that you had. I'll be back shortly. I can certainly project here. I don't know if they'll hear me on camera, but we can try. And maybe while we're waiting, we can do that. I was just very touched to speak with all of you and see all of the love and the incredible family that you had. Your parents met when they were teenagers at the Old Y. That's okay. These things happen. I think now everyone who's watching from near and far can hear. It just sounded like an incredible family. They met when they were teenagers. They fell in love. They stayed in love. You had a household where debate and dialogue was encouraged. And then the incredible life that your mother had, even when she was in the Simpkins Center, that she was even able to do an art show and surrounded by her artwork. It was very special. And of course, no better people to talk about her than Todah and Rabah, who are going to speak today. So I will let you take the microphone. Todah, I think you were going to go first. And if you stand here, then they can see you.
My mother was the most stubborn, infuriating, and bossy woman I've ever known. She would stand at your shoulder and give you very detailed step-by-step instructions for even the simplest task, like hanging a picture or putting foil wrap on a turkey before it gets roasted. She would never allow us to pay for her when we tried to treat her. And once she told us, after admitting that she was having double vision and was still driving even at night, "I'm fine, I just close one eye." She was also the smartest, funniest, strongest, and most loving woman I've ever known. She supported us through every life phase, through every decision, whether she thought it was stupid or not, through every joy and through every sorrow. She was the cool mom even before there really were cool moms. My friends loved her. We could talk to her about anything, and she made everything fun, except for when she was being infuriating. I have a very clear memory of her and my dad on the teeter-totters during a family visit to Detroit Lakes, where we went every year. We were laughing like lunatics. I even got it on film. Our birthday parties were the envy of every kid, with crafts like make your own hat and have a fashion show, decorate your own cupcakes. She made paper mache piñatas way before you could buy one of those things at any dollar store. There was also the time she accidentally dropped the entire birthday cake on the neighbor child, but that was kind of fun too. Her sense of humor is legendary. It was snarky and sarcastic, but incredibly sharp and observational. There was a lot of laughing growing up in our house, and every time we were together since. Even in her later years, give her a funny hat or joke glasses, and she was absolutely in her element. Mom left a big impact on a lot of people. Her lifelong friends, her students and her colleagues, people that only knew her briefly, but the impact that she's left on her family is like a meteor strike. It's huge, and it's deep, and it's wide, and it's everlasting. She was very open and generous in making sure that we knew how proud she was of us. But we're so proud to be able to be her daughters, even though she often introduced us with numbers instead of names. She was she was one of a kind, and we will miss her every day.
I don't know how to follow that. I don't know why I told Hanita to go first, because she's the oldest. If all of you who know me know I'm a planner, and I need to take time, a couple of days, write something out, really review it. I threw together some words this morning, so I'm not going to be as eloquent as, I just need to open that. Big mitts. Lovely. Thank you, Mom, for picking a blizzardy, cold day. It wasn't enough that Wendell and Dad, in December of 2004, picked those days as well, but Mom had to also. So thanks a lot for that, Mom. I hate January. I freaking hate January. Have I told you that? I hate January, except for Joseph. He is our one bright light who celebrates his birthday today. And I want you to know that today, that the 21st will always be a celebration because you're with us. I'm a blubberer too. I don't cry very daintily, and then you can't hear me, so I'm going to try and keep this together. I wasn't sure what to write about Mom. I didn't want to keep people out here long. It's not as cold as I thought it was going to be. And we are going to have a celebration of life in the summertime when we can really gather, and that's when I'm going to really share some stories about her. But I thought this morning, I thought about the people who have reached out to me the last few days since she's passed, and the adjectives that they used to describe Mom: fierce, feisty, fiery, force of nature. They all start with F. Frances. But that was her strength. And it manifested in how she stood up for what she believes in, for herself and for others. It manifested in her advocacy of family, friends, residents at the Simpkin Center that stayed on even after her accident. She was very much a fierce advocate for all of the residents at Simpkin. If she saw that somebody needed help or assistance, she was the first one to get up and go and search out an aide or a nurse and insist that they come and help that resident. She sat on the residents' council for many years at Simpkin to ensure that all residents, including herself, got what they needed to have a good life at the Simpkin Center. It manifested in her compassion for others. So that advocacy, it all boils down to her compassion for others. The way that she would console grieving family whose loved ones had passed away at the center. My mom was always there reaching out and letting them know wonderful stories about their loved one, and always insisting that whatever she can do to help them. Her strong opinions and not afraid to share them, even if you didn't want to hear them. And Anita already touched on this, but things had to be done her way. So, you know how we all have a way of loading the dishwasher, and if somebody didn't load it properly, you come and you reload it yourself. Well, Mom took that definitely a step or two further, and this was just how she was throughout our whole lives. And I remember coming to the house. We always had the large family gatherings at the homestead on Pool, and I would come over and help her get prepared. So I would do the vacuuming and the dusting and set the table. And I have a very clear memory. I'm living in that house now, and as I was standing in the dining room, and I had a clear memory of dusting in the dining room, and I was about to dust the chairs, and Mom came and stood over me and told me exactly how I was to dust. I was somewhere in my 30s, and I said, "Mom, I think I know how to dust. I think you taught me well." I don't remember if it was when she had her back surgery or when she sprained her ankle. They were fairly, I think, close together, about a year before her significant injury. And we were all taking turns coming over and cooking for her and looking after her. And it was my turn to cook. And I'm in the kitchen, and I'm making salad, and I'm chopping up some vegetables. Anita came by for a quick little visit. Mom was sitting at the kitchen table and instructing me on how to cut the veggies for the salad. I just let that go in one ear and out the other. This is Mom, this is who she is. I'll just continue to chop. I might chop it the way she wants, and maybe not. She might not notice. Anita, on the other hand, immediately jumped up from the table and said, "That's it, I'm out of here." And she promptly left. The staff at Simpkin Center certainly know what I mean when I talk about Mom's opinions and how things need to be done. And woe is a staff member who doesn't follow her instructions. If they didn't fold her laundry right and put it away in the right drawer or hang it up, they wouldn't hear about it. She had a certain way to have lotion put on. They needed to follow those instructions. And if people didn't listen, then she was bound and determined to do it herself. It was in the way, it was in her passion for teaching. Mom had a great passion for teaching, and even though that wasn't her initial chosen profession. I think that was really her calling. Her students, she was passionate with her students and their abilities and encouraging them and mentoring them, and I think it had a very lasting impact on many, many students. She used to call them her kids, and we hated that growing up. And we would say, Mom, they're not your kids. We're your kids. They're your students. But again, with the compassion and just who she is, they were her kids. Teaching family and friends all through her life. We found that at the Simpkins Center, we came across a picture of her doing an art. She was teaching some of the residents she was having an art class with the residents. When she had her brain injury and she was recuperating in the Grace Hospital, and there was a woman in the bed beside her, and Mom was helping to teach her to draw and to learn English. The woman didn't speak English. Mom was helping her to speak English, and even though Mom could not follow a TV show, she couldn't perform basic tasks, somehow, some way, she was still able to teach this lady. There was one of the staff at Simpkin came to me the other day and shared a story about Mom and how her first language is not English either, and Mom would be very patient and speak very clearly and teach her words in English. The lady also knew Hebrew, which Mom didn't know, but Mom knew Yiddish. So Mom would teach her Yiddish words, and this woman would teach her Hebrew. Mom was always wanting to help out and to teach. Her unconditional love for family, standing up for us, taking care of us. I have a very clear memory of she always wanted to make sure that we were in touch with family. And growing up, this is what I would hear in her booming teacher voice. Boomy, did you call your sister? Call your sister. When was the last time you called your sister? She was always making sure that Dad was in touch with family. That's just one example. Dad was the manager of a brand new Shoppers Drug Mart back in the day, and he was working 12 to 14 hours before the store opened till way after closing. The regional manager was always riding his ass. He called one night. I don't know what the conversation was about. I don't know what he said. I was young, a young teen. And I remember her saying, Dave, what color are your eyes? And I knew who this man was, and they were brown. And he must have said brown, because she said after that, because you're full of shit. I guess he would, I don't know what the conversation was about, but Mom was standing up for Dad. She really wanted to take care of family. Her brother-in-law, when her sister passed, she took care of her brother-in-law. She was his caregiver. She was the point of contact for home care. She did his groceries and took him to his appointments. She did so much, and even during times when she had her own health issues to deal with, she was still driving out there to take care of him. And when times when she shouldn't have been driving, and I told her you shouldn't be driving, she would then take a cab so that she could go and help. The first thing she did after her injury and she was in hospital, one of the first things she did, she was reach out to Jewish Family and Child Services because she was helping a relative, and she remembered that before her accident, and she wanted to make sure that things were moving along smoothly. So that from her hospital bed. Still not able to work the TV or follow, but she was able to do that. This is how she made deep, meaningful, and lasting connections with so many people. Fierce, feisty, fiery force of nature. That was her strength. What made her so resilient through all the adversity she faced. This is where I get blubbery. She's the strongest person I know. She was my rock, the person I've always aspired to be like. My friend, my confidant, my mom. If you'd indulge me, I'd just like to finish the poem by Elizabeth Barrett Browning that was engraved on my dad's headstone. Where am I? I don't even know where I am. The first part was engraved on his headstone. It's on the pendant that he gave my mom that she wore, cherished, and that I'm wearing today. How do I love thee? Let me count the ways. I love thee to the depth and breadth and height my soul can reach when feeling out of sight. For the ends of being an ideal grace, I love thee to the level of every day's most quiet need by sun and candlelight. I love thee freely as men strive for right. I love thee purely as they turn from praise. I love thee with the passion to put to use in my old griefs and with my childhood's faith. I love thee with a love I seem to lose with my lost saints. I love thee with the breath, smiles, tears, and all my life. And if God choose, I shall but love thee better after death.
Thank you. May her memory be a blessing. That was very special, and thank you for doing that. It takes a lot of courage. I really appreciated how you said that, you know, as a teacher, her students continued to visit her for years. I thought that's a real testament to her, to how much of an impact she had. I'm now going to chant the Amalei Rachamim prayer. El Malei Rachamim shochen b'maramim hametzeh menucha nechona al kanfei hashchina b'ma'alot kadoshim tohorim kezohar harakia mahazirim et neshama ציפורה בת אשר ובלומה שהלכה לעולמה בעבור שנדבו צדקה בעד השכרת נשמתה בגן עדן תהיה מנוחתה לכן בעל הרחמים יסתיריה בסתר כנפיו לעולמים ויצרור בצרור החיים את נשמה אדוני הוא נחלתה ותנוח על משכבה בשלום ונאמר אמן. O God, full of compassion, who dwells on high, grant true rest upon the wings of the Shekhinah, the divine presence, in the exalted spheres of the holy and pure, who shine as the resplendence of the firmament, to the soul of Frances Kogan, who is gone to her world, for charity has been donated in remembrance of her soul. May her place of rest be in Gan Eden, the Garden of Eden. Therefore, may the All-Merciful One shelter her with the cover of his wings and bind her soul in the bond of life. The Lord is her heritage. May she rest in her resting place of peace. And let us say, Amen. Just a couple of quick announcements. There will be no Shiva, as you mentioned before, because of the COVID restrictions, but a celebration of Frances's life will be held this summer with her family. The family would like to thank the Simkin Center for the 9 years that she spent there, and donations in lieu of flowers can be made to the Simkin Center, to Canadian Diabetes, and to cancer care. I'm going to ask the family now to recite the Mourner's Kaddish with me. Itgadal ve'itkadash Shemei Rabah, be'alema divera cherute ve'amlich malchute, bechayechon uvyomechon ufchaye dechol beit Israel, ba'agala uvizman kariv vimeru amen. Yehi Shmei Rabah mevorach le'alam ulalmei almaya. Itbarach ve'ishtabach ve'itfoar ve'itromam ve'itnase. Ve'itadar ve'itale ve'italal shemei dekudsha berichu. Le'ela min kol birchata ve'shirata. Tushbechata ve'nechemata. Damiran be'alma vimeru amen. Yehi Shlomo Rabba min Shemaya, ve'chaim tovim aleinu ve'al kol Israel vimeru amen. Ose shalom bin romav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Israel vimeru amen. Sorry, the book is a little frozen. May the Omnipresent comfort you among the mourners of Zion and Israel. Hamakom yenachem etchem betoch sha'ar avalei Tzion veYerushalayim. Sorry, too many papers. It's also a mitzvah, a good deed to help finish burying the loved one, and it's customary when you're supposed to put 3 shovels full, but you're supposed to use the back of the shovel. And don't pass the shovel to somebody else. Put it back in the ground so as not to pass the grief forward. And each person will then pick up the shovel. And then they'll finish for us. Thank you all for being here today, and it's been an honor to officiate for you. Just do as best as you can. It's very hard I know it's a little difficult if you just want to put one stop. Okay. Want me to hold your bag?
on both sides.
Oh, it doesn't.